Well, welcome back to another episode of Run Disney Rundown. We are here to get you ready for Springtime Surprise Weekend.
Yay!
And as always, I have our whole host of rundowners, rundownies, what do we call that? Other co-hosts. We have Steve.
Hello, everybody. Aloha.
We've got our porta potty and shoe connoisseur, also Steve.
Dude, what's going on, man? That's funny.
And we also have Christy joining us for this episode.
Hi, everyone.
We are all running Springtime Surprise this coming weekend. We're here to go through Expo Guide, what to expect, answer your questions, and all that fun stuff. Guys, how are we doing today?
Good.
I could be saying I'm a little nervous for 5 miles of highway running on Sunday.
That's going to be the best part, Christy. They're going to have all kinds of entertainment out there for you to watch and just keep you going that last 5 miles.
I have been driving around property this week and looking at all the different mile markers in all the different locations. And I'm like, oh, God, we're so far away for so long.
Yet we keep signing up.
We keep signing up.
And speaking of signing up, before we get into springtime, there's been lots of news since our last episode, but we have Marathon 2024 themes, which I think will be exciting for a lot of people, marathoners, dopiers, and of course Coast to Coasters coming up. We also had that Disneyland registration here just a couple weeks ago, and everyone here on this channel is running Disneyland. Along with many other frequently seen friends in our videos. There is a whole crew of us. And then quite a few of us are also planning on this marathon weekend to get that early coast to coast. So we're going to be real quick on this. Themes fall pretty much generally in line with marathon weekend themes. It's more or less what the design is. And I think it's pretty cute this year. It's all centered around like kind of cool run graphics. Lots of characters running in them. You can see the main weekend logo theme here. We go down. We'll just touch on. We have 5K, 10K, half, and full. And I do like that you get like some of the park and ride icons in these logos. These are really cool. You know, I am not running Dopey this year, but definitely love these themes. Wish I was. And speaking of Dopey, we do have the Goofy and the Dopey logos down here. So let us know what y'all think.
These are really good.
These are cute.
They're really clever. They're very Dave Avanzino vibes with the letters, with the Disney characters that he does. The letters, sometimes he'll go to the art festival. He's at Disneyland often. And so look up his art if you haven't seen it yet. It's really cute.
I love the colors in there this year too. So last year the overall theme was like the 90s? So do they have a theme other than just what they've put out there, like?
No, I don't think there's like an overall theme. And typically in the past, like we haven't had these like overarching themes like that, at least in a while. Especially for marathon weekend. Typically it's just here's the characters, the art style is kind of the theme that brings it all together. And we are definitely kind of going back to that, but I think that's okay. Not everything needs to be Springtime Surprise where it is an entirely different group and cast. I think Wine and Dine Weekend is kind of falling into the Springtime Surprise category, where it's just like, yeah, this is Wine and Dine-y, right? Y'all like Figment? Yeah, we know you do. Sign up for our race, please. But, all right, we can move on to the meat and the potatoes here. Waste no more time. Springtime Surprise. Folks, what are we running this weekend?
I am running the 10-miler.
Yeah, same for me. Just a 10-miler.
Just
a 10-miler. The three of us are running the 10-miler, but I think Lake and Katie are going a little bit farther than that.
We are in for the challenge, and this challenge is a little bit different from some of the other ones. This includes 3 of the races, so the 5K, the 10K, and the 10 miler. So we will be out there all 3 days for the weekend, and we will be at the expo Thursday. We will not be rope dropping the expo, though. We actually are getting to the expo kind of later that day. But nonetheless, we will be there. And as always, if anyone has any questions about Springtime Surprise Weekend, Run Disney, or any of that, feel free to drop them into the comments, and we will post them up here and answer your questions. But we can go ahead and start where all Run Disney race weekends start, at the good old expo.
Steve's favorite part.
Oh, yes. Steve can tell you all about the entrances and the exits.
How to get through there fast.
I'm going to time myself, see how fast I can get out of there this year. That's my goal. Do you guys have a time goal for the race? I have a time goal to go in and out and get my bib. Let's see what I can do. I'm sorry. It's like you don't invite the contrarian into this conversation if you want enthusiasm about the expo.
It's good to have lots of different opinions. That's what I think. So
that's right.
Well,
I will be different in Disneyland, though. I'll tell you that. But that's all.
Yes, Disneyland will be different. Disneyland, I would be excited to do some rope dropping and virtual queuing and all of that exciting stuff. But we will not be doing the virtual queue. As I said, we're going to get there later. Virtual queue has ended anywhere between like that 3 to 5 o'clock, depending on how full it's been. So we won't have to deal with that. If you are doing the virtual queue and you are new to it, at I believe it is 7:30 a.m., you join it just like you were going to join Guardians or Tron virtual queue. It is the same exact process. On the My Disney Experience app, there is a separate tab when you go to the virtual queues. Katie says it is 8:30. I'm pretty sure this has been different every single time, because I thought it was 7 the first time and then 7:30. But anyways, thank you, Katie. You will go, you'll join it just like it was any other queue. It's going to give you a return time. Just like any other virtual queue that Disney has, the times are very, very, very subjective. And there's been times where people were stuck at, it's going to be 20 minutes for you. So they make their way over there and it's like an hour. And there's other times where it's just moving. We have done the virtual queue twice. It's been fine for us. We had one really good number, one just fine number where we were kind of sitting around waiting. And it does definitely, on that first day, spread the crowds out in the worst kind of way. So if you are there that first day, expect more lines for different things. Expect lines to get your bibs early in the morning and all of that sort of stuff. But if you're going to go on any of those other days or later in the evening on the first day, you don't have to worry about that.
If you want to go in the afternoon, when should you get into the virtual queue? And once you enter, like get your spot, can you show up whenever? Do you have to show up within your window?
No, I believe they will let you in pretty much as long as your queue's been called. But I know like at some point they just turn the queue off. They say like, no more. You can just basically show up and go in kind of once it catches up for the day, essentially. It's typically, even on that first day, the evening ends up getting pretty quiet. But you will potentially miss out on that sweet, sweet merch if that's what you're about. But let me see here.
Chad says, good luck this weekend, everybody. Katie also said, woohoo for the challenge. I know she's up for that again, which is awesome. She's running with you, Lake. And what else? What other comments do we have here? Last year, the highway was actually nice after being a little crowded in the parks the first half of the 10 miler. That's true, too. Let's see. It says Katie says says you have 1 hour, but at a cast member discretion, I've heard that they have let folks in. I missed the last part of that. Sorry, Katie.
Nope, that's it.
Okay.
But this is the same setup that we've seen for every Run Disney race in pretty much since races have returned. We've got the 3 buildings set up. The first building you pass is the Run Disney merch. And then you're going to make your way up that little hill. Building on the left is going to be where you're going to do your bib pickup. And then the building on your right is where you're going into the actual expo. and I do have that list of exhibitors. Looks like it should be pretty solid. I think we've had pretty solid expos here, with the exception of maybe Wine and Dine. But Marathon Weekend and Princess Weekend were both pretty solid. Advent Health being that title sponsor, BB Brook, Beach
I'm
Life
excited
Fitness.
about that one.
Yeah, Brooke's cool. We stopped and talked to her a couple times last year. And then Disney Vacation Club, Fit to Run is that whole center section, which is going to be all of your general running merchandise, anything you may have forgotten. Let me see here. We will get to that question there in just a second. Flip Belt. Yeah, I'm not going to go over all of these. It looks like most of our staples are coming back, though. And trying to see if anything new really pops out to me.
You know, KT tape is always there. And for somebody like me that has some knees that need a little assistance, I love that they will tape one body part for you for no charge. They don't even charge you for the tape. So you can buy tape if you want to get more body parts taped up. But I always prefer to pick my bad knee, my worst knee, and let them tape it for you. And the tape lasts a couple of days on your skin. So you can get it early for a later race.
And if this is your first marathon weekend too, if you for some reason you travel down to Disney and you forget something, there's a lot of decent merchandise there you can get as well. If you needed like a shirt, I believe they have shoes, right? Like, and
Yep.
then definitely like cheaper sunglasses and all that type of stuff. So it's a good place to be able to pick that up.
Yeah, I mean, you can pretty much pick up all your essentials. I think men-wise, your clothing options might be a little bit more limited if you forgot something, but you could definitely still find like a shirt or something. And there is also Fit to Run actually at Disney Springs. And I've actually done it a couple times where I've done like pickup orders if my running shop here doesn't have what I need. And I'll just do an order for pickup and go and grab it during a race weekend, which has worked out pretty successfully for me in the past. And then Chris asks, why don't they allow you to pre-purchase merchandise and then just come and pick it up? They actually do, but it is a very limited selection. You can get some basics, and I think the bigger problem with it is that it's all packages for the most part. And you can't like pick and choose your package. You're kind of just stuck getting whatever is in the package. And a lot of times there's like kind of random fluff in there.
Nope, we lost Steve.
Yeah, I think we're about to get a storm rolling through, and if it's coming from him, it might be a little bit. He might be getting hit a little bit harder than I am right now.
Katie says, just over here fact checking Lake per usual. Imagine being married to him full time. Katie, I know what it's like because Anna Wake's an accountant like you, and so she keeps me honest all the time. I love it.
Yep, and Katie did just reiterate in text in the comments. I put it up here on the screen for us. But only other thing I'll hit on here, Expo hours, first day, 10 to 7. Second day, that's going to be Friday, is 12 to 6. And then the last day, the Saturday, is 11 to 3 p.m. And, of course, you do have to make sure you get there to get your bib before the races. Of course, they say they do not offer, bib pickup day of. There is a little bit of flexibility in there, but in general, you should always plan on getting over to that expo. Any other comments, tips, or tricks for the expo, guys?
Nope.
Nah, I mean, we've talked about this before. I love the fact that they put up the different numbers for the different races that you're running. Sometimes they'll have characters there. So I know that Goofy was there one time. So if you're running Goofy, you could get your picture taken with Goofy. So there is, if you don't necessarily want to buy the Disney merch, but you're interested in that type of stuff, they usually have that after the end of the Disney merchandise part. So we get a kick out of taking pictures there now, I guess.
That is one thing that I actually tend to do is if I go the first day, I won't do the pictures, but I'll go back either later the first day or the second day, and that's when we'll do our pictures, and I'll go back and that's where I'll film a lot of my B-roll and stuff for my expo videos because there's just less people. You can actually get there and kind of accomplish things quicker. a lot of times you can go through the actual expo and like talk to people a little bit more. It's just a lot less chaotic. So if you have that extra kind of time and you're interested, it is kind of worth it to make your way back over there. Of course, things like the Disney merch is going to be sold down for the most part, but you can have a more leisurely experience at the expo if you're used to the rope dropping typically.
I guess I'll just say for like the springtime weekend, getting there a little bit late on Saturday. If you're there too late, they may help you, or they may have you help clean up. They're starting to put stuff away, whatever's left. They'll give you a broom. You and Donald might be out there cleaning everything up. So,
God, the dad jokes are
I
even
know,
on this podcast or this.
I need a
airing.
life. I'm sorry.
I need you guys to waste like a minute of time so I can catch up on
Okay.
something I have no knowledge
right.
of.
Andy says, good luck this year, guys. Mr. J. Ducky says, I usually go back on Saturday, less busy for the expo. Hey, Steve, so you're good with this. It's going to be pretty warm this coming weekend with temperatures down there in Florida for people like myself who have been used to the 50s up here in the Northwest. Any tips for how to run these races when in warmer conditions?
If you don't have the, am I, oh God, I feel like
You're good. Your sound
You're
is
good.
good.
You're
Okay,
good.
good.
The sound's good.
If you don't have, if it's not warm where you live, you don't have the luxury of training in Florida, it's a big adjustment when you come down here. If you get down here a little early and you want to do like a shakeout run and just get used to what it feels like, I suggest that. I always suggest leading up to a longer event, to just be careful how much time you put on your feet out in the parks, make sure you, of course, hydrate. I'll take a few electrolyte salt tabs with me. I like those because it's convenient. And sometimes if you were to like chug a big Gatorade, a little bit before you're going across the race, or something's in your stomach that you're not digesting, it just feels terrible when you start getting out there. So salt tabs are a really easy way to get a quick boost of electrolytes. But don't try anything new on race day either. So what's
tab of salt? Is it an actual tab of salt? Like it's not like a Noon tablet or something like that.
It's not like a Noon tablet. They're really small. So they actually come in pill form also. But the tablet's easy because you can just keep them in your run shorts or something like that and just, pop it. You don't really need to have water with it. I typically do, but you don't really need to. It's a good way, to help yourself because you will, even if you're not typically. So the way I understand the science of it, sorry to get off on too much of a tangent, but if you're not a big sweater, you can still be a heavy concentrated electrolyte. You can lose a lot of electrolytes anyway, even if it's the volume of sweat isn't very high. So some of us have higher concentration of that. Some of us do not. So it really depends. So just hydrate, and also just really electrolytes too. And make sure, you're eating properly and you have your right amount of carbs and all that stuff as well. And take it out on the course. You don't like, I've cramped. I have like cramped to the point of like almost seizing up, like at mile 8.5 during the half marathon in January 2020. When you get out of Magic Kingdom and you hit the road, like right past there, and it is horrible feeling. Like it's so bad. So try to avoid that at all costs. It was a really long answer, but I'm passionate about electrolytes.
Wendy says she learned that the hard way during Princess Weekend. Oh, that 10K was humid. And Chad says, I'm a big fan of base salt during races. That's capital BASE. So product.
Yes. All right. I'm ready. So I was getting ready to go into the events and realized that I forgot all about the other event that happens during this weekend. We have the Springtime Surprise Yoga, which is actually happening at Hollywood Studios this time, opposed to Magic Kingdom where it had been held. And this is Thursday at 5 a.m. This was something you had to register for. It is also sold out. And
is it right in front of the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway?
I believe that's where that's going to be taking place, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. There's a huge, like right where you park your stroller over there, there's like a big area that you can't really lay out. So it's not going to be that open. But I get maybe there's less capacity for it. I feel like in front of Magic Kingdom, you could have a ton of people out in front of Magic Kingdom.
Yeah,
that's
it's definitely a bigger area, but I guess they're going to make it work. They might have sold less. But I know people were really hype on this for Princess because they got actual, like, really nice yoga mats that were RunDisney branded. And then you also get a bottle of water, you get the yoga, and then you get your picture opportunities, of course. There's not actually picture opportunities. There's just the opportunity for you to post a picture that said you did it.
Yep. Katie is right, though. So another thing for this weekend, she said that yoga is going to be cool if it doesn't get rained out. And so this week there is some rain surrounding the area all week. It looks like typically like in the evenings, like, you know, you generally get on your Florida vacation. We've actually had a pretty dry, it's been warm, but kind of dry leading up to this point. And this week, like the humidity is back with a vengeance. So there's a little system coming over the Gulf. So maybe get a little bit of rain here and there. Hopefully it doesn't affect the race. It might affect a little bit of the park time or anything you're doing after. So just pay attention to the forecast.
Yep. But again, that yoga is at 5 a.m. They do have bus transportation from Disney resorts, but it is a little bit of a wonky setup. They essentially have one bus that is going to, you have one pickup time, and it has a very specific time. For instance, All-Star Sports, 3:30 a.m., and then All-Star Music, 3:30, and then the other All-Star Movies, 3:35, and then it takes you there. And if you miss that bus, you're either Ubering or driving. It is complimentary parking if you do drive, and it looks like that opens up at 4 a.m. if you do choose to drive. But if you need to use the busing, don't be late for that.
How much is it? Do you guys know how much the yoga is?
I
I can look it up.
I feel like it was 105 or something like that. It was pretty close to the 5K price, I thought.
Wow. Okay.
People have said it's 109.
Yeah, it's 109.
People have said it's a nice, easy yoga. It's a nice event. I do believe I read that it said to be at your bus stop 10 to 15 minutes early so that you don't miss, and then the bus can be 10 minutes late. But
do they put characters out there for you and stuff? Is it like
No, but there has been like fireworks and stuff for it.
Okay. That's a pretty hefty price for yoga, though, isn't it? If there's no characters in the amount of time that you're out there, if it's the same as the 5K, that's interesting. I guess
Get a mat.
You're doing yoga in a park.
You get a mat?
Yeah.
You get home? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a RunDisney branded mat.
$105 for yoga.
Boy. Do we want to go ahead and move into the 5K?
Let's do it.
All right, so we will try to be pretty quick about this in the 10K since I am the only one here running it. But we've got, of course, this springtime surprise is all Pixar themed. So we have the Cars 5K. This is all our races are 5 a.m. starts as usual, and they are all start finish in the Epcot parking lot. And I will go ahead and get that map pulled up for us. There we go. So this is pretty much as standard of a 5K as we could get for RunDisney. This is the same course we've seen for quite a few 5Ks now. We've got the start in the Epcot parking lot. Looks like the corral situation and setup is pretty much exactly the same as previous races. No major changes there. But you do start, you swing right, and you take that little loop out around the parking lot there. If you are a spectator, that's a pretty cool area to stand and cheer, if you're looking to cheer for that. And then you head into the backstage areas, into the cast entrance, and then you're going to enter right by Mexico there. You do that whole loop around World Showcase, which, I mean, it's pretty awesome. You get to spend a pretty good portion all around World Showcase. That's pretty much one of the best parts of many races. And then you're going to do the run straight towards Spaceship Earth there. You're going to go out in between Connections and Connections Cafe. And then we are looking at what I think is the worst finish of RunDisney races, or maybe second worst. We had another one that was pretty bad that I won't get into. But I miss when we used to go down out Spaceship Earth, and then you would be right there at the finish. I thought that was way better. But you go out around Mission Space, and then you got to do that long run around the Guardians building, which is like a 1/4 mile long building. It goes on forever, and then you're finished. And that is the 5K. Spectating wise, like I said, you can see them at the start and kind of along that area of the parking lot there, and then you can catch them at the finish. That's really going to be the only places, though, that you're going to be able to spectate that race. If you are someone staying at one of the boardwalk or beach club area, you could potentially walk up to, is that International Gateway? Yay, nay? Is that the name of it?
For the back entrance? Yeah.
Yeah, you may potentially be able to get pretty close there. I'm not sure if they have that actual gate open for you or not yet, though.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, it'd be pretty small back there though, right?
Yeah, it would be a pretty you technically go out of the park, so you probably would be able to get there. I don't think I've ever seen it where it's been shut, but I don't ever really remember, like, if I remember spectators. And Chris says you get to look into the Epcot tunnel towards the finish, probably. I don't have clarification. Epcot tunnel.
Give us more, Chris.
Yeah, I'm going to need some elaboration on that. But as I said, pretty standard 5K here. Pretty cut and dry. I know last year the 5K was at Animal Kingdom. We had a blast at that, despite the shortening of the course and the weird weather. But the 5Ks at Epcot are definitely, they give you a wider path, which makes it a much more leisurely experience for what is already an untimed race. If you've never done the 5Ks, they're chill, they're fun, they're no pressure. You can walk, run, whatever. You know, you would have to be moving very, very slowly for them to like actually sweep you, which is what's pretty cool about them. A lot of kids out there,
Blake?
Yeah. A lot of kids. Definitely a wider array of ages as well. It is definitely the most like friendly of the races to, I think, all abilities.
Yeah, be tough getting my kids up at that time, but I'd love to do it at some point with them.
You would probably have a blast. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It definitely, like, a lot of times too, if you're with a crowd of people, it kind of just feels like it's like a moving party for 3 miles.
Katie asks if she can grab her Starbucks on the way out on the 5K course. I would probably just mobile order, Katie, if I were you. You know, sometime around Mexico, get your mobile order in so that as you swing by a Connections Cafe, you can grab it on the way out.
They don't do coffee mobile order.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, don't listen to me on that. Do
just
not try to
make sure that's
order.
out there.
It's probably not even going to be open that early yet, but that would be awesome if you do that.
Could you imagine how many mobile orders they would do? Do you know how many times I just don't go there because of the line alone?
Oh, that line is insane. Always.
Yeah. I end up with that terrible Joffrey stand on the way out.
Chris says tunnel entrance between Guardians and SSE backstage. Maybe you see it or you might turn right before it.
You would turn right before it. I think where they're talking about is where the like gospel choir is usually standing. Because that's where we used to come out for the race.
Wait, isn't that on the other side?
Well, yeah, after Guardians, but before Spaceship Earth there.
Okay.
That's what we're talking about. I think. I could be wrong.
I feel like...
Why don't we go ahead and move into this 10K? Yeah. So, 10K, Monsters, Inc. I am excited for this. These are all themes I don't think I've had for a race before. All new for me. And I do love a 10K. 10Ks are, I wouldn't say less chill, but a good challenge. I think RunDisney wise, they're a good bang for your buck if you're trying to decide between a 5K and 10K and you know you can hold that pace. I would always say go for the 10K. I just think you get a little bit more out of it. Same as the 5K, we're going to be starting at Epcot. This is a 5 a.m. start, just like all the other races. And as well for the 5K and 10K, you do have that transportation starting at 3 a.m., and then that might be different for the 10-miler. I'll get there when we get to that. Also, there's a little note here that says, please note that Start Group A will close 20 minutes prior to race start, and Start Group B will close 10 minutes prior to race start. However, that start group A ends up being like 30 minutes before, and then people are like hopping the fence to try to get into their corral every time. But this is, again, we are doing the start in Epcot. We don't have to do any crazy walkout or any of that. We don't have to do any crazy walkout for any of these races, which is good and bad. I actually don't mind the walkout start just because it spreads people out really nicely. And it's a nice like start area. There's usually more room in the corral.
Hey, like, do you
I-
remember? Go
Go
ahead,
on.
Christy.
No, go
Go
on.
ahead. Do you remember last year you kind of went through security and then they had like another security to get out to the corrals? It was like a total funnel that everybody had to go through. It was kind of, I hope they do that. They don't do that this year. They did that for the 10 miler. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Any
I
chance?
don't quite remember. So
I think you were far enough ahead because you guys were already in the corrals, but people near the end, if you're getting there late, there was like kind of a funnel where they were checking everybody's bibs one more time to go out to the corrals.
Oh, yes. They do still do that where it's right before you get to like kind of the corral area. They intentionally have like, they have it funneled off and they're checking
Bottleneck.
people's bibs. Yeah.
So
Well-
just be aware of that if you're late, or don't be late, I guess, if you're up there in the front.
Yeah, and they have to do that because there are a lot of fake bibs that come through there. I have some know some people that work at RunDisney, and so they really are actually making sure that everybody who's on the course belongs on the course.
Yeah. We watched them pull someone from A and the person like took off through the parking lot one time.
I feel like
That's-
that's not the best
It was pretty crazy.
plan if you want to come back. Can we hang out on this comment for just a second where Katie comments that she's wearing a costume for the 10K? I cannot wait to see it. Although I guess I'll be seeing it on the pictures, and I just would like more information. I guess do I have to
Yes.
wait until pictures
Katie
come out that
and
door?
some members of my family are going to be in a costume. that they have
Oh.
Are there
coordinated.
costumes going to be coordinated?
Yes.
Oh,
Is your mom coming?
Yep.
Your sister?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. My almost my whole fam's going to be down doing something.
Wow.
hey.
But yeah, they are.
Steve,
all,
what's your costume?
Yeah.
You have a costume
Airline
reveal?
pilot.
10 miler?
Airline pilot, yeah. Oh man.
All I
Yeah,
can think of is Lake short shorts for his costume.
that's better to look at than anything I'm going to put on. That's for sure.
Lake,
I
are you
love my
not
short
participating
shorts.
in the costume coordination?
No, I am not.
Oh,
participating
come
in that
on.
Costume.
Come on.
Katie, make sure you get pictures ahead of time because she said that it might look rough if it's going to rain or just by the end of 6 miles. So I need to see a fully put together costume. Please feel free to text me.
Like that's like the last bastion of unlocked things you need to do for Run Disney, run in a costume.
There, that is in the works actually.
Rope
Oh,
copy
not
For
the
when?
nerd
For
gang.
where? For which race?
Potentially wine and dine. We'll see if
Uh-oh.
the right person is watching this, if they will comment and say what's potentially happening there. But yeah, it's probably nothing crazy, but that is a potential. Yeah.
I have to say that costumes are really what help when you're like kind of over the Run Disney race at that moment. Like there's just a moment where you're just tired. You're tired. You need something fun to look at, and you've got like Sebastian and his muscles running by. We had that one Princess Weekend race, or just whatever it is, right? Like these clever costumes all put together and coordinated, and people put so much effort into it. And it really is fun when you're just like, out there running in the back of the pack, getting to see all the clever looks people have come up with.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
do like no shade to all the people who put all the great effort into the costume because it's absolutely great to see.
It's amazing.
I
It's
just
fun.
don't love being uncomfortable for
'Cause
that
you
amount
gotta
of
have
time.
his short shorts.
Yeah, and I like imagining how bad they're chafing under the outfit too. So that's and how much blood there is underneath that outfit. So sounds like a lot of fun. I'm just playing. I mean, I see you see like what's his name, Jack, the guy that always runs, Jack Sparrow.
Jogging Jack.
Jogging Jack. I mean, that
And
guy.
that big old coat and everything.
I mean, I hope he has a special industrial wash and dry for that costume.
That is dry
Because,
clean only.
my
Thank
God,
you.
wearing pants at a Run Disney event. And a leather jacket and all that stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
but
the pants are not the only problem with that
the pants are
costume.
not the only problem. But I really respect
It is
his
amazing.
his commitment to the character is great. And he typically does like all of them, I think.
Yep. Yeah,
Not to
all
mention
of 'em.
he runs like Jack too for most of it as well. Kind of that,
He
know.
does.
Yeah,
He does.
the-
He's got alpha flies underneath his costume too. I saw if you look at his pictures, he's got like the Elliot Kipchoge alpha flies on, and I'm like, that is so cool.
So I think
At
we
least he
need
doesn't torture himself with boots.
right. I think we need MJR Ducky's comment to go on the screen for just a second.
Oh,
Lake
that one
should run
there.
his Figment. Katie, let's see what you could do to make that happen. I would
Oh my
like.
God.
I'd be there for that. And poor Wendy did have some chafing during Princess. Sorry,
Oh,
Wendy.
It's got to be a nightmare when you run with some of that stuff, you know. It doesn't always breathe very well, but I mean, again, I respect the commitment. I respect it.
When we
And I enjoy
ran
it.
the 5K last year, which was the night one, it was super humid, and there were a lot of people in like Yeti costumes, and there were people who took off their costume, did the race, and then right before the finish, like got off to the side to put their costumes on for the picture at the end. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could, like, not to be super Debbie Downer here, but like it could be dangerous to be wearing all that stuff and be out there and like overheat. You know, so you have to be careful. You have to adjust on the fly, if you will.
But why don't I go ahead and move it into this 10K so that we can break off of that and get into the fun part here. So we have pretty standard 10K here. I'm trying to think the last time we ran this course. I think this was the 10K course we ran during marathon weekend. This is a pretty standard rendition of Run Disney 10K where we're pretty much contained between Epcot as well as the Yacht Club Boardwalk area. I actually love this 10K. I know it only goes through one park. A lot of people prefer the one that goes through Hollywood and Epcot, which is a great 10K. Not going to take that away. That is probably the best 10K course. But I do like that we're kind of getting a good switch up this year. We've seen a couple different courses throughout the year, and I think that's pretty sweet.
Crescent Lake is the best place to run.
What's
I
that?
think Crescent Lake is the best place to run around Boardwalk.
Yeah. The only thing is, like, with the quiet zones now, it's not quite as hype as it used to be, but it's still a pretty fun area, and there's still, like, it's better than being on highway, let's be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that the only thing that switchback, like after mile 1, is not fun. Like that is a very, very tight turn, and especially a mile in, you still have some crowding. So that you gotta, the 10K can get a little jammed up over there, and you have to kind of wait until things kind of shake out a little bit those first couple miles. I remember doing like a similar course, I think, for the Princess 10K, and like running on the grass a lot, trying to get around everybody. It was pretty packed.
Caution, runners.
But getting through
switchback ahead.
Yes. Oh God.
Yep. But this does, again, same Epcot start, except this time we are swinging left. Spectators, you can view your runners right there at the start. They actually, I think at that point they'll have like the bleachers and everything for you. And then you're going to run out through the Epcot entrance. One of my favorite parts, I wish they would put like PhotoPass there, of you like running through the Epcot entrance there with the sign and everything. I always think that part's so cool. They're always playing some sort of like Disney-esque music. Hopefully with the 50th being over, it'll go back to the Illumination soundtrack. That would be pretty hype, please. But first mile is a little bit dull. Other than that, you are basically just running straight out down the highway there. And then you got 2 sets of switchbacks there to mile 2. And then it's almost mile 3 before you are officially in a park. You're going to enter back by Journey into Imagination and start your way around World Showcase, where you're going to break off to do the loop around Crescent Lake, mile 4 right by Boardwalk there. Typically you get at least 2 character stops there in by Boardwalk as well. And then you're going back into Epcot. You get the rest of World Showcase. Love when we get the full lap around World Showcase. Brings you up to mile 5 there. I will note too, are the barges still there as of now?
There's one barge left.
One barge left. They're all in the picture on the map here.
Wait, I thought they only removed one so far. Now there's
Nope,
one.
there was another one. Another one was removed today per the Instas. I could be wrong about that, but I'm fairly certain the picture showed one barge left.
Only
Oh,
thing I
awesome.
liked about those barges was when they put the race weekend logos on it.
Yeah, sure.
That was the best part.
Not worth having it though the rest of the time.
No, not at all. Not
they
at
could
all.
put that. They could put a logo up there somewhere else, right?
It would have been fun to watch them just explode. That would have been very satisfying to just, when you watch like a building in like an old casino in Vegas go down.
Right?
I mean, they
Stardust.
literally rolled the illuminations ball like out where people could see it, and we're like, all right, we're gonna destroy it now.
I mean, Harmonious was a fun show. People really liked it. I'm not hating on the show, but getting to see the whole view of World Showcase is going to be nice again. So
I agree with that
Get rid of them.
100%. But then we are seeing the same finish that we've seen for every Run Disney race for like the past 2 years now, where we're going in by the connections area, out around Mission Space, around Guardians, and into that finish. And that about covers our 10K here. We do only have one more race to cover, the one that we are all itching to talk about. And I think, at least of last year, it was definitely the best race of springtime by far. I mean, it was the longest distance race. I was probably of all the races last year was probably my like second favorite race was the 10 miler. I thought the theming
last year
and everything.
like
What's
for
that?
one? Was it warm last year for that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a pretty warm day.
Yeah. I'm glad. I hope they stick to this. A half, you're talking about mid-April now. At some point, it was like early April. You're already getting it where it's like getting warm. I hope they stick to this format for the 10 miler. I've never run a 10 miler before, like race. So I'm like, I'm all about them shortening it up for this particular one. I think it's great. I'm excited.
Yeah. I think the 10 miler is a good choice for the kind of end of the Run Disney season here with the heat.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Katie's
But-
comment.
Yeah.
Got to pop
She's
that
in
up. Maybe.
She
There we
can,
go.
Get her Starbucks now.
You're going to take 25 minutes off your time, Katie.
At that point, she doesn't care. She's gonna have her coffee. She's gonna be happy out there in the out at the race exit.
Running across the finish line with a Starbucks and then
Yeah.
being part of their marketing campaign.
There are some advantages to being in the back of the pack.
There you go.
Do get cool things like, booths being open and getting drinks, all of that fun stuff.
It's warm water everywhere, because it's been sitting out in the sun for 4 hours, but that's fine.
That's fine. That's okay. All right. So moving into the important things for the 10 miler, of course, Sunday, 5 a.m. start, Epcot start and finish. And okay, the entrance opens. It says our event entrance opens at 3 a.m. each race morning.
Does it say what time the roads close?
Let
Usually it's
me
after
see here.
3:30. I think I read something about 4 at some point. Because anybody coming from the other side of the Magic Kingdom needs to cut across to get to Epcot before that road closes.
Yeah, let's
Looks like
see.
busing will be starting at 3 a.m., which could definitely change. Typically for the longer races, it is 2:30 a.m. for any half marathon race, but they have 3 a.m. posted here. But definitely when you get to your resort, they always have the sign there that posts, everything you need for the race, all of your times. Definitely double check that just in case. Let me see here. Do they say what time the roads are closing?
It's also reflected on I remember it's on your maps. They actually have the road closures built into the maps, if I remember correctly.
They have them posted. The actual road closures they have posted on the event guide, and they say we recommend getting there no later than 4. Is what they put on there. So I'm gonna guess.
So I figure the road should be open until 4.
That's
What
probably
time do you typically? What
accurate.
time do you get up for that? Typically, what's your?
I I get up. I'm a late. I don't care. I get up at 3. I'm very efficient with getting out. I usually leave
Yeah.
at 3:30 or right around there, and can be to the park in 10 minutes.
Do you sleep? Well, you're not a great sleeper to begin with.
I'm not a great sleeper.
No, I don't. I typically.
And it's, I'm always envious of Lake and Katie going to bed at like 6 o'clock,
Yeah.
7 o'clock. And
know how
I'm
they
just
do it.
thinking of my kid bopping
Melatonin.
around until 9:30. That it's just not.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the.
I don't know if I could go to bed that early, but I'm also not doing this 4 days in a row, right? Like towards the end, you're just pure exhaustion is putting you to sleep.
Yeah, I'm
But-
sure.
You guys want to hear something crazy?
Oh
Yes.
boy.
So some of
Isn't that the line from Frozen?
oh
Sorry.
yeah,
I
Go
mean, do we? You tell us.
a couple of my friends in our little running group are doing a trail race Saturday night, and then coming right to springtime. I am not doing that. It sounds cool, but
Wow.
I don't.
You
really
mean like
wanna...
not sleeping and just going straight to the event?
I think so. Yeah.
Aren't there those? What are those? Is it?
That's rough.
What are those 24-hour racers? They're like
Ultra?
field relays.
Like ultras.
Not an ultra. Like is it a Ragnar? What are
Yeah,
those
you think
called?
about Ragnar and stuff like that. Yeah, where you have a group of people.
Yeah, and you kind of it's sort of a relay, and your time is up, and then the next group, and so on, and they go like
Yeah.
24 hours or whatever.
Yeah, you usually have six people for van, 12 people for the whole group. So
Oh my god, no! I'm like,
I don't want to listen to you. I don't even know what you guys are complaining about. I mean, it's like an all nighter for me anyway. So I'm not getting any sleep.
Yeah,
3 o'clock is like
you're
midnight
right.
my time. So
And now
Yeah,
you're
you
in
know what?
Hawaii, so it's even
Yeah.
worse.
You know what, Steve? One day we should just stay up and have a few drinks and just see if we can get there. And
let's do that.
really
Let's
be
do that
like-
when we do the. Let's do that when we do the 5K. How's that?
All right, really be like Jack Sparrow and just pull an all nighter, show up just reeking of alcohol.
I had
And,
another
maybe
buddy go to Halloween Horror Nights and then come straight to the race.
Yeah.
well, like I said, I'm going to see Taylor Swift on Friday night, so I do not expect to be in good shape by Sunday morning. It takes me time to recover.
All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and break down this course? As I said before, start situation is the same as the other races. So we're going to be starting in Epcot. There is no walkout or any of that. Something you should know about that, though, is that means those corrals, being probably the biggest race of this weekend, are going to fill up a little bit faster. And they're probably going to be a little bit fuller than what you've seen for like 10Ks or 5Ks. So just keep that in mind. It's definitely going to be a little bit more packed in that area. You don't have that mile walkout where people spread out and then can kind of leisurely get into their corrals. I think there'll be a lot more of people kind of getting to their corrals quick and parking it there. So just something to watch out for. I am not sure how many corrals they have posted. I can see if they have that posted after this. But we do have that course map here. This is, I think, exactly the same as the 10-miler course last year, and also very similar to the Wine and Dine Half Marathon, which basically just took the 10-miler course and added 3 highway miles on it.
So here's a $1 million question here. How slippery is it running through Galaxy's Edge? Is it bad?
I was gonna bring that up, but yeah, I mean, just be careful. I mean, it's not like being on ice skates or anything like that, but do be
Yeah.
careful running into it because it wasn't even wet last year, but there's something about the
It's
bricks
got
or
that
whatever they
patterned
have. Yeah.
floor, like the imprinted. It's exactly the same as Pandora.
Yeah, Pandora's a little bit slippery too, and typically get there kind of early, so like all the dew and it can be a little bit wet for a half marathon. Even though that's probably, again, I'd say Crescent Lake and running through Pandora is probably my favorite places to run. But I was wondering because did you see anybody kind of like busted or take a spill last year or no?
No, but it was noticeable. When I first hit it, it was kind of noticeable that it was a little slippery. So
Okay,
I don't know
good
if
to
that makes
know,
sense.
for
Yeah.
people listening. Yeah, I mean, like he barely touches the ground. He's like a gazelle, so he doesn't even know what it feels like. But guys out there with his jetpack.
It doesn't make
What's
things
the
less
concrete? I
slippery.
don't know. It's like today's like, I just go out there and run. I don't care if it's 400 dew point and 600 humidity.
I mean, that's true, yeah.
Just drink a little bit of water and go.
Start is actually similar to the 5K, where we're going to swing right. So spectators, you can view the starting area as well as all along kind of that area going through the parking lot. So lots of room to spectate the start, which is pretty cool. Mile 1 in through that cast entrance. Again, you get a pretty good run around World Showcase. And then by Morocco, you do go and do a little out and around by Remy's Ratatouille, which usually makes for a pretty cool photo stop, right going out of the Remy's Ratatouille entrance there. And you are going to swing left across the bridges there, where you are going to go out and around Crescent Lake on the boardwalk side, and then you're cutting it left. This area coming up this early into the race is definitely a spot that's potentially going to be pretty crowded for you if you are middle to back of the pack. This is the path between the boardwalk and Hollywood Studios.
It's usually gridlock when I'm passing
it's
through. You're
only
just walking.
about 2 meters long. It is not very wide, and it is fairly early into this race. So pack some patience there. It's going to be a tough part.
You know, just a note too, if you are doing a run walk program, just remember when you are walking to go to the right. And typically there's the system where you put your arm up to say that you're walking, because even if you're middle to back of the pack, it's still very dangerous to just instantly stop because the person in front of you has stopped. So monitor what is happening around you. Put your arm up, move over, but walkers should stay to the right when possible. And obviously through that Hollywood Studios, like that little area, it's probably not as likely, especially as further back, to run at all. But if you can move over, please do, to be respectful for the other runners on the course.
Yeah, they are not as vocal about running etiquette anymore as they used to be. It is still posted on the event guide.
Bless your sweetheart, Christy.
I gotta try.
You know, the problem is the folks that are probably listening to this are also the folks that are pretty good about doing it
right.
Not even, I mean, it's really not even an unwritten rule. It's typically what they ask you to do. But
you know what? Not everybody knows that. And so I didn't know it. I didn't know it. And I didn't used to be a run walker. I used to just sort of run. And so then when I switched over, I needed to be told, oh, go to the right to walk. I was like, oh, it didn't occur to me. So.
And just remember, like, these are very inclusive races with people with varying abilities and goals. And so some people are out there for a casual stroll, even for 10 miles, right? And other folks are trying to go out there and, PR. So.
And no matter what their PR is, they could be in the 4th or 5th corral if there were 5 and still want a PR. So we always just want to be a little bit mindful of our fellow runners.
I do suggest if you want a PR to run, to sign up for a different race, though. I would not. These are not your PR races, in my opinion.
But you could PR your own self.
You could.
So.
You could.
I've PR'd some Run Disney races.
PR for.
Because I'm Lake. I'm fancy.
Yeah, I am.
He's owning it now.
We need to sign up.
Up until Celebration, Princess was my half PR.
All right, and let's also say that you're up in Corral A typically.
Always.
Yeah.
So if you're up in Corral A, maybe even B, you certainly have a much better chance at having a lot of room out there and being able to PR. If you're in the background,
I don't know what your PR is. You can PR anywhere. It's just not. It's just whatever.
That's true.
Right? It's just harder when you're running around people.
It's harder at these events.
Yeah.
It is. And there's also more to do at these events. There's character stops, there's music and things going on. There's definitely reasons not to necessarily go for a PR.
And Disney no longer tells people to move to the right. They say don't run more than 2 people across. If you're, which, people don't listen to, obviously. Work on your speeds to have one in front, behind, whatever. None of that happens. So it would be nice if they put that back in the event guide.
So RunDisney's policy actually was never run to the right. It actually was walkers to both outsides and runners in the center, which is like
Wait,
opposite.
did I say runners to the right?
Well, that's like the standard. Like that's what
Oh.
everyone tells each
Right.
other. Like that is what's
Okay.
universally accepted. But RunDisney for years would tell people runners in the center, walkers on the left and the right. So it was like a
that's
funnel.
awful.
Yes, I don't know why they ever did that, but yeah, that was like the RunDisney policy that they would announce at the races for years.
And then it all falls apart when you get to the water stations.
Well, it has to.
Well, yeah, I
Because-
mean,
or when
You
you
have
get
to
to this boardwalk to Hollywood Studios part.
that's
So
true.
there's just too many people to do anything.
Yeah. Yep.
But then you do get to run what I think is the most exciting part of this race. You get to run a really good, solid portion of Hollywood Studios. You run in and down Sunset. No, Sunset's the one that leads to Tower, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so you run down the main road very quickly, and you actually veer off at that left to go over around where Gertie is. You go around the water there. And then you continue around like you're going towards Muppet Vision, Star Tours, all of that. Sometimes there's like some cool character stops down by the Star Tours area, kind of in that area between that and Backlot Express. And then you're going to run down through the tunnel into Galaxy's Edge. You get to run, I want to say run all through Galaxy's Edge, but realistically, you don't get to see the Millennium Falcon or kind of any of that deep stuff, because there are stairs and terrain that block us from being able to get back in there. So you do run the outside. You run by the X-Wing fighter. You run by where they do the character meet and greet. Sometimes there's some stormtroopers or characters out there. The only thing is they've never had like actual character stops in this area, which I always thought was weird. It would be great if we saw like Mando and Baby Yoda for a character stop. But they never seem to, for the two races that have done this, they never seem to want to do like Star Wars stops during this. And I think
My
that would
suspicion
be-
is this turns into a Star Wars 10 miler at some point. Not permanently, but as part of their rotating surprise.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. They did have stormtroopers up above. They were looking down. I remember that.
Yeah, I just always thought it's weird that they don't do like a straight up like character stop though.
Right.
Which is funny because when you get out after that, you go to Toy Story Land, and I feel like both times we've done Toy Story Land, it's been like character. Like they had like 2 or 3 like back to back right there.
That's what it's like actually being in the park. All the characters are just out and about in Toy Story Land, and you very rarely see anybody in Galaxy's Edge.
Yep. Ashley P says late to the party, but running my first 10 miler on Sunday. Ashley,
Woohoo.
good luck.
Yeah.
We will see you out there. And we'll save that next comment until we finish this up and we can talk about all that fun. Steve's ready though.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna do something fun. I'll let I don't know how many folks are. I'll let the people vote, but I'm like between like 4 shoes at the moment. I don't know what to do.
I'm totally
Kids.
gonna pick by out the
Kids.
color of them.
Kids. Voting on kids.
Kids, huh? All right.
But after Toy Story Land, you pretty much run down Sunset there, up by Tower, down by the Fantasmic Stadium, and then down the hill. And then we are halfway through the race and through all of the parks. For the most part. You get about a mile of park at the end. But we do have lots of highway here. I will note from last year, the character stops in this highway section were pretty scarce. There was like only 1 or 2. And then they had one spot that was supposed to be like some sort of live entertainment, but there was weather at that point, so they weren't out.
See?
So I think on top of being kind of long and boring, they're also like, all right, let's go. Let's get you off World Drive. But yeah, so you were on World Drive for almost 2 miles, and then you're going to go up the overpass. And this is a very familiar finish to pretty much any like half marathon that we've seen here, where you're going to go. You're doing the hills up by the entrance to Epcot. You do the little turnaround there over the bridge. I always like that part where you're going over the bridge and like you can see Spaceship Earth glowing and all its
Majesty.
Yeah. Yep. But
Or in the
then you-
daylight.
it still looks cool.
It
It's so
does.
marvelous. It's beautiful. It's my favorite. But then you're heading back into Epcot at Mile 9 there by Journey into Imagination. You do kind of a quick loop out towards World Showcase, and then you go back down that main center bridge there. And then you are cutting the right and going out by Mission Space and around Guardians into your 10-miler finish. And I know you can see this on the event guide if you need a closer look at it. But if you have any other questions about the course, feel free to drop it in the comments. MJR Ducky says, I hope that the Bell Player is back at Tower of Terror again this year. That was really cool. Do you guys remember that? That was last year, right?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, what was that called? What was he called?
I can't remember. You know, I'm kind of curious. Like, so last year, since it was Tower of Terror, was kind of like taking you back in time as you started off. I'm wondering if they're going to do anything besides just, hey, there's characters along the course this time that are Pixar themed. But kind of curious to see what they do, because I thought it was kind of something clever that added to it.
Yeah, I feel like of all the race themes, the Toy Story one is like, as much as I like Toy Story, is the one that's the least exciting, only because those characters are almost always out at like
That's
all the
true.
races. Like, I feel like I have a picture with like Woody and the creepy version of Bo Peep. Like
I bet
every
you they'll have
single
Andy
race.
out there. Right?
1939.
There we go.
The 10-miler last year was definitely one of the best themed races that we've ever had.
And I'm gonna go back to the very beginning. For those of us that aren't out at Walt Disney World all the time as much as you guys do, I thought it was really cool for the beginning of the race as you're running around World Showcase in the dark with everything lit up. And like we said, they had the logo out on the lagoon last year, which probably won't be out there, but that was a really cool part of the race. This is probably, besides the half marathon course that I've run before, this is probably my favorite race that I've done down there.
Yeah, you get the all of the flames are going on the things that I can't think of their name right now.
Like the tikis or whatever, or
Yeah.
Yeah,
light posts. How are we going to word those?
definitely cool.
But yeah, any well, we do have one question for Steve. Steve, what shoes are you sporting?
Need a little help, guys.
Okay.
Here, what am I doing? Either the Alpha Fly 2s. I love these. I ran with them Sunday. They felt good. I get a little bit of rub in the heel, but I think I wore a very thin sock with this one, you know? Or I think this matches a little bit of the colors a little bit. The Adidas Prime X.
You grow like an inch and a half in those shoes.
What's that?
It's like an inch and a half of height in those shoes.
These are World Athletic Illegal. But
Oh, yeah.
Dad Bod approved. So
Approved.
yep, the Prime X Strong. You like that, right, Wendy? Yeah. I know, they're pretty. They're really nice. They are just, I don't know what Adidas does. And like, I don't always love Adidas shoes, but their Continental rubber on the bottom of their shoes is like so grippy too, and like really doesn't wear. And they have the carbon rods right there, and these have the carbon plate there. So between there, I'm gonna bring them both. Wendy's voting because of you. My running shoe collection is insane. I thought about the Vaporfly 2s and then the original Alpha Flies too, but oh man, the addiction is real.
I'm just going to
Yeah, I
need you
am
to hand
leaning towards these.
sanitize before you
Do
touch
you guys
your
have-
face again.
What's that?
I need you to hand sanitize before you touch your face again. After
Say that again, Christy. Honey. What's up? I'm from New York. Do you know how much bacteria? I used to play in New York City public schools and playgrounds, Christy. I that's why, you know, when COVID hit, it didn't get me that bad. I just have all this stuff ruminating in my body already that keeps the germs away. But you guys have an opinion here internally? What do we got?
I
Oh,
like the
man.
ones with the pink and purple.
The pink.
Because I would say those Adidas are looking pretty fly. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so this kind of gets with a little bit of the colorway for Toy Story
Yeah.
too, right?
So I think those are the ones I choose
I think so.
based
I
purely
know.
on the covers.
All right.
I will be running in I think they're New Balance, right? Ghosts.
The Brooks Ghost.
Brooks. Is that what it is?
Brooks
Yeah.
Ghost. Yeah.
14. And you can go to Track Shack in Orlando and they will ship you shoes for $40 off this week because the 14s are $40 off because the 15s are out.
Yeah.
Wendy's going with the Adidas also there, Steve. So
Yeah. There we
get a
go.
consensus.
Steve's gonna run in his 880s, like have on Hokas, unless he has the Rocket X, or whatever they are.
Nah, I
Man,
got
that's
it's a
a
I get the
possibility.
1080s this year.
Why
Oh,
is
it's
everybody's shoes on their counters? Steve's is holding up his mic.
Because I don't have
That's hilarious.
Oh,
That's
that's fantastic.
Yes, I was actually considering that though, because I do like I'm potentially wearing those for Eugene.
So here's the
So,
thing: you could buy like 2 less corksicles and be able to get those shoes easily. Just if you just scale, if we scale back on the merch, we're gonna get you those Hokas.
It's not. I'm not too worried about getting them. I can get them.
I'm just playing with you. What are you gonna run in though? Do you know the Mach 5s?
I just want to know what colored tank
No,
top.
no, I might actually do X2s
Oh, you might go get them before this weekend.
potentially if I can find them in stock, because I need to test them out before Eugene, anyways.
Yeah, you definitely do. Well, you should. Yeah. Well, you got to wear
Call
them.
Track Shack in Orlando. They'll ship it to you potentially.
I don't know if they'll give me $40 off those shoes.
You know what? Like they had them.
It doesn't mean they're going to be.
They had them
on
at Disney
sale.
Springs last weekend. What's this? Is that Fit to Run
Fit.
there?
Fit to
Fit to
run.
run.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now, actually.
They had them at the Disney Springs shop.
This is
MGR
scintillating.
Ducky's running. How do you say the first one? I'm not the shoe guy.
Arahi.
Forest Clifton's Arahi. Okay.
Hoka-
Arahi's Mock
all
Forest
Hokas.
Clifton's. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Awesome.
love the Mach 4s. They were my favorite shoes like ever. I still have new pairs in my closet.
I don't know about Hokas. Hokas have the durability of Hokas typically is what's bothered me. I think it's maybe it's aesthetic, but the lack of like it's all exposed foam on the bottom of their shoes typically, and they just after a couple runs, like the bottom just looks like really worn to me. But I don't know. People love Hokas. They finally caught up to the other shoe companies with making the Rocket now. And getting some new foam. They were using the old EVA foam for a long time, but the new proprietary foam is finally there. I know you love them, Lake. I'm not hating on them.
Well, no, I totally agree. The Mach 4s have that. They don't have any outer rubber, but the Cliftons do. The Cliftons have outer rubber, and they hold up fine.
Yeah, that's a good daily trainer. I heard the new ones are really nice too, and people like Bondis. There's you know what? It's a good time to be a runner. There's a ton of shoe companies and equipment now that are all making great stuff. And the more that you have that, the more competitive it is, the better price there is for everybody. So it's a good time to be a runner. I feel like it's like really blown up. With Asics is making good stuff. So but yeah, don't wear new shoes for this weekend. Try to avoid that. Practice what you're gonna wear. Does everybody
I haven't done it.
You're gonna wear?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Steve's just like, I'm happy to be here. I'm just going to get out there and run. Just like Lake. They're just up at Corral A. They're done in like an hour. They got 3 beers lined up for me already. I'm dying at mile 8.
We just got to be Katie to Starbucks. That's our problem.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to get there before.
I'll take a
she
champagne,
gets
please.
Order in.
Yeah,
One
right.
champagne. We'll have
No,
that
they
ready
do
for
have them
you.
in stock there.
Thanks. Promises, Steve.
No, we'll have that ready for you.
Oh, I'll drink it.
I know you will.
Lake,
I can wait till brunch.
you're at Saratoga Lake? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm at Saratoga. Saratoga
Right.
Club.
That's
Yeah, where's everybody staying this weekend? I guess or next weekend. So we got Saratoga.
It is this weekend.
Yeah.
Did you get Saratoga, Steve? Did you get
No, it never came through. So I'm out in the boonies out at Animal Kingdom.
I don't know if I would call that
I
the
love Animal
boonies.
Kingdom.
I'll be at my house.
I can't believe a wait list for Saratoga didn't come through.
It's tough, man.
Because apparently
Saratoga
everybody who
is
runs
popping
wants
this
to
weekend.
stay there.
But they have so many studios. There's so many. It's crazy.
We did our check-in already. You know how the check-in usually, like, you can say, hey, I'm going to be there at 8 a.m.?
It says
That's-
before 4 or after 4. That's it.
Yeah, it's all turned off for the times.
But that is in general right now because I have a staycation coming up at a different hotel in a few weeks or a month or over a month actually, and that's what your check-in options were.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But just because typically
It used to be like every hour you can put.
You could say I'm going to be.
What's nice about that is that they'll text you at the time in which it's like your room is not ready at 11 a.m., you know? And in the COVID and post-COVID world, I rarely have rooms ready really early. In fact, BDC rooms have pushed really close to 4 and sometimes after 4. My experience. But
Lake is
Coronado
actually
awesome.
probably buying his shoes online right now.
No,
Look at that. Look at feverishly. Gotta get them.
Wendy, Coronado.
I love Coronado.
Yeah, I was going to say, do we want to tag team this question? Because we got a good answer about that one.
I'm going to actually say this. Coronado is the best all-around resort at Walt Disney World, period.
So
solid.
We've done Coronado for Wine and Dine, and we just did it for Princess, and we, I think, are doing it again for Wine and Dine coming up, and it's awesome. We love Coronado. We love it for race weekends. The only con is its quick service is abysmal, but all of its other restaurants are very, very solid. Yeah. And it is. Go ahead.
The quick service is apparently not owned by Disney, or not run by Disney. That must be part of the problem.
I 100% believe that would be the problem. That would explain why it's radically different and operates completely different than all of the other ones.
Yeah. But their food is good.
It's great. It's the value and we just stayed at Caribbean. We actually got to stay in one of the Little Mermaid rooms, the rooms that they refurb.
The new rooms.
Ooh, those are nice.
Really nice. It was a 5-person sleeper. I don't know if it was because we were kind of on the corner. It's in Trinidad where they finished. We're sort of on the corner. It felt like a large room. It was kind of big for, you know, and it was really well done.
Those rooms were bigger back then.
Yeah, it must be. I mean, I really enjoyed. We had a great time. That's like the best pool bar on property too. Banana Cabana. That is a great pool bar. It's very fun.
They have solid food too. We did dinner there one time.
We had Sebastian's. We did the now it's family style. It used to be, you know, a la carte, order whatever, and now it's the family style stuff. So and it was very good. It was super impressive place, and you have the Skyliner there now. So very good.
We have one question. What, if any, park are we doing after the races? We actually are doing a little bit of park time this weekend, which we usually don't do. We're going to do Animal Kingdom for a little bit after the 5K. And then I think we also have reservations for Epcot on Saturday. Not 100% sure if we're going to do that or what we're doing or how long we'll be there for that, but we do have those reservations.
I'm blacked out Friday and Saturday. I got the Poor People's Pass, the Pirate Pass. So,
better than the Pixie Dust Pass.
Yeah, no, yeah, we're blacked out. They used to have just a few blackouts, and now I think they black out almost every single day. You get to go to the park like 3 times a year now, I think. Pretty sure. Used to be able to go for July 4th with that. It was the Gold Pass.
This is still spring break, so
yeah. So I don't know. If we go, we can make a park reservation for Sunday, but I don't know.
Yeah, did Katie say you guys are having a date at Animal Kingdom?
Yeah,
that's cute. I love that.
Get a room.
Some fun.
So no one's allowed to come, is what Katie just told us. Also,
yeah, no one ever. It's just to the 2 of you guys at Animal Kingdom. No one else allowed there that day.
Well, nobody else that they know.
In the background.
Just you guys at Nomad, so, you know.
No, not allowed though. Not allowed to ask if you can join. Don't walk up to the table.
No,
Katie's date.
We're gonna go enjoy the resort
join us,
for a
say
while.
hi, all of that fun stuff.
I have a newcomer coming for the race too. I recruited someone from my neighborhood, a good buddy.
Oh, nice.
Wait a minute, is your friend Peter going to be there?
Peter will be there. Yep, he's I think running everything.
Okay. Then your neighbor's going
and-
too.
What's that?
Your neighbor, is this the one that went on the cruise?
Yeah, they're big cruise folks. We lost.
What if the power went out?
The power went out. Yeah, they're big cruise folks.
Sorry.
I'm going on a cruise with them in September. They coerced us into a 3-night on the Magic.
Oh, look at that. She didn't say it was with Lake, that the date.
Oh,
Off the top rope.
oh, this just turned into Maury. Turned into an episode of Jerry Springer. Come on, Katie, get on. Who's the baby daddy? You are not the father.
Yeah.
Run Disney After Dark. Who's staying with us?
That's awful.
Go get Dave. Hey, let's play Match Your Mate on one of these things one day, huh? Let's organize that. Get a little spicy. Sorry, guys, I'm exhausted. I'm losing my mind. I literally had an espresso just to stay up for this thing.
So you shouldn't be so tired.
The caffeine is just
a loopy combination at this point.
Yeah.
Katie did want to make sure she pointed out that it is, though, with Lake.
All right.
We know. We know, Katie.
We'll get pictures somewhere, I'm sure, along the way.
So in love. How nice.
Yep.
Just like all of us.
Yeah. Remember those days?
Stop it, Steve. You had
Wake,
two
Wake, he
dates
doesn't
last
mean that.
week. Yeah.
Wake, he doesn't mean that.
Mm-hmm.
Wake is lovely.
Yes, she is. She's not listening right now because she's working, I think. So that's why I can get
Oh,
away
good.
with
We
it.
could finally talk about her. She is just the worst. No.
Well,
Bring
if
us
we don't
together,
have
Lake.
any
Bring
more
us
questions?
together.
Do we want to go ahead and wrap this shindig up here?
Probably should.
Yes, everybody have a good race. And I think we have a pretty big group, guys. Like maybe the largest. Kind of
It's
weird
a
that this weekend's
huge
going to
group
end up.
of us.
Yeah, it'd be so
We
many
don't have
people.
any like official meetups or anything. If you want to find us, best place is typically after the races. We tend to hang out for a little bit. We'll probably be at the 10 miler for pretty much the whole thing just because we have such a spread of people running. But if you want to find us after the races, first off, you can always just message us on Instagram, either the DCL podcast Instagram or our MouseGen Instagram. Just say,
So that
hey,
means
you guys
you'll
still
be
at the race?
Following that one.
And we're always happy to meet new friends.
Lake will
But,
be signing
yeah.
autographs. Right?
No, I'm not.
No? No signing autographs?
Posing
No,
in
but
the
I will
short
give you a
shorts.
button. We'll
Shit,
give you
button.
We'll give you one of my snazzy MouseGen buttons.
Nice.
I like it.
Nice.
Wendy says good luck. Mr. MJR Ducky says good luck. Scott says good luck to everybody. You can find me. I'll be standing there waiting for Christy with the champagne and Steve's beer. Just let
Yes. Please.
We'll bring the cups.
Don't
I got plenty.
get my champagne at the same time as his beer, or it'll be
you
real
know. You don't
warm.
want to be warm by the time you get there.
But yeah, anyways, after the race, you can typically find us hanging about. We're usually to the right of the bleachers over by like the character stop area. But we'll also be walking around, maybe watching people finish. Like I said, if you see us around during the weekend at the expo, any of that, don't hesitate to come up and say hi. We love getting to meet everyone. It's one of our favorite things about the races now. So please come up, say hi. We love to meet y'all. But I think that's going to close out our show. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all of that fun YouTube-y stuff if you're watching on there. And we will see you this weekend for Springtime Surprise Weekend. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Good luck, everybody.
Peace.